On this episode of Sunday Night Drive, we ran into some vintage cars, trucks, buses, and roadsters. Hi Ron, can you tell me a little bit about this old bus?
This is one of the coolest cars around.
It's a 1956 Chevrolet 150 210 Business Coupe.
Oh yeah, it's got a crank.
The other crank.
I called it the command start.
Yeah. Labor and love.
Yeah.
Labor of love, that's exactly right, yes it is.
There are some spectacular rides displayed at the Red River Exhibition Grounds at the annual Swap Meet. Nostalgia is in the air as people are cruising in their vintage vehicles, and some are ready to change ownership papers.
The area over here with the show cars in it, that comes and goes all day. So we'll get 200, probably 250 cars coming and going in here. We have over 200 vendors in here selling everything from soup to nuts in there. All related mostly to the car hobby. So if somebody's replacing or repairing or rebuilding or restoring an old vehicle, they're out here looking for parts. It's called a swap meet. What it is just a huge garage sale selling car parts, really. Yeah.
Very good.
Along the road to your right down this way is cars for sale. And so if somebody has a vehicle that they want to sell, it has to be 25 years or older. It goes down in this row here. Yeah, this is a 1918 Model T bus. It was restored by the club, Manitoba Classic and Antique Auto Club. It was used to run from the end of the streetcar lines on North Main to Lockport. And that was back in the late teens and 20s up into the early 30s. This vehicle, and I had mentioned, was driven by the first licensed lady bus driver in Canada. But her father ran this business and out at Lockport, and so they used to transport people from the end of the streetcar line to Lockport and then back again. Back in those days. Like this bus was actually supposed to go into the Museum of Van Nature, or I guess the Manitoba Museum now as they call it, but never made it because of the Nonsuch. They didn't have room for it. So we've kept it as but it is a historical vehicle. And it's an operating vehicle, although it wouldn't start today. This whole vehicle was it was just in pieces when the club did it. In fact, the engine was being used to cut wood, so it was completely in a shambles. One of our club members did the drafting of all of the blueprinting of all of this, because it was all gone. So this was all redone, and it's still the original engine, and it does normally run, but it hasn't been run for quite some time. So it's having a little, and it's crank start. There's no starter on this thing, so there's a little bit of work to it to get it going and driving it. Other than that, it's a 4-cylinder. It's got strictly mechanical brakes, which are only in the back wheels. There's no front brakes. And Ford built the chassis for these things, for Model T trucks. And I'm told, and I have from one of our members did some research on this, this vehicle was the truck in Canada, the 1918 was the first year for a truck chassis in Canada. They were earlier than that in the United States, but here, and you got the chassis with the engine and the wheels, and you built what you wanted. In this case, it was built as a bus. Others were built as trucks and stuff like that. So that was all done just locally. Yeah. You got to know what you're doing.
6-volt battery in there?
Yeah, we actually use a small motorcycle style battery in it. It's fun to drive. My son drives it. He knows all about it. But and I used to drive it, and I used to look after it to some extent. We used to have one of our senior members, I'll call him, actually looked after this bus, and he knew all the ins and outs of it. And you can't take it anywhere to have it repaired because nobody knows anything how to do these things. You know, it's in the museum out here at Jim's Garage in Headingley. It's in that museum. And that's where we store it. So the public sees it all the time. You can go in and see it.
Well, I found it in a field or bush, and I thought, I can't leave that poor thing there homeless. So I brought it home, and I spent 4 winters every day for 4 years. And I took it off the, it was so rusty, I took it off the old frame, and I bought another vehicle from Autopack that was newer, and I put this body on a newer frame, which is a Suburban. So I had the V8 and the newer brakes and all that. And so that's how easy it was. You just take the body off, put it on a new one. So it was lots of fun. It was every day was interesting because it was challenging. I even did all the body work myself, and then I met a body man, and he just ran his hands over everything. And he says, "Oh, I can fix all this." So I said, "What?" I thought it was ready, but I met a really good body man, and he fixed it all up. The engine came with the Suburban. It's a 350 Chevy, and it had a throttle body. Which I got rid of, and I put a carburetor, distributor, all the shiny bits, exhaust headers, a new radiator and fan cooled, and on and on and on. I don't even have 100 miles on it yet, so I took it to the World of Wheels and then the Rotorama, and now here. So no, it's new to the scene, and it sure gets attention. Kids. They just flock to it.
Do they all try to jump in the back?
Well, at first I had a fence around it. I thought, no, right? And then, so I took the fence down for this one little girl, and once the fence was down, kids were in there, and they were pushing every button, pulling everything. One kid was down there pushing the gas pedal, flipping their seats up and down. Oh, it was hilarious. And finally I had to put a stop to that. It was getting a little out of control after about an hour. Oh yeah, they were having a ball. But that's part of it. When I found it, it was sitting in the bush, and then, which actually doesn't even look too bad there. So what I did, I took pictures of my little pictures and then had them blown up.
That's nice of you.
You can tell I'm not a techie.
But it's what people want. It's
Yeah.
like hands-on.
When I show you younger people, right? And they'll say, wow, I say, yeah, these are called photographs. That's the way we used to do it. Well, the interior is, the bucket seats are all out of a Montana van, and I ended up using at least 4 Montana vans to find the right colors, and I wanted armrests, and they had it, and they fold down. They're quite, I was very happy with them after looking through the auto records. And the roof had a big, it actually had a chimney coming out the side, and because the guy had a camp stove in here. And then, so I cut a bigger hole in the roof and made it so it flips up, which is nicer for summer cruising. I moved the gas tank, used to be here, so now I put a nice big trunk in here for keeping stuff. Including my trophy, the Master Builder Award. I'm very proud of that one. Yeah, when you look at the whole project, it's overwhelming, but like I said earlier, every day is a new challenge, so you just concentrate on that. And I kept the old steering wheel. Got a really nice dash for it, aftermarket. Put a backup camera in it because I'm not used to driving this thing yet. Stereo. And my neighbor Len rewired everything. He did a wonderful job of it. Very high tech, the electronics. And these seats all fold down like this. Added some leather just to make it a little more styling. Put an old horn in it. And the last thing I did was I put everything on the air ride. So I can lift it up and drop it back down into the weeds. Okay, you know that word cool? Well, this is what the word cool means. Watch this. Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's cool.
I found an old Coca-Cola sign at the dump, so I welded that in there just for interest. Just so a blind person can't find them.
Ooh.
Had a car like this in high school, and the last several years I've been looking to get another one, and purchased this car last year. Car came out of Dayton, Ohio, and I've done a bunch of personalized items to it to myself to make it my own, and now I'm just driving it and enjoying it. So, fun car, fun car. The Tri-5 Chevys are pretty popular this day and age, and bright color, it's just fun to drive. Old school 4-speed with a small block Chevy, and lots of chrome and bling. We're here today at the Manitoba Classic Antique Auto Club's annual swap meet. I've been coming to the swap meet here probably 20 plus years here, just a kind of a kickoff to the season here. It's meeting some old friends and people all summer that we see, and buying some parts if you can find something that you need. And there's everything from soup to nuts to lawnmowers out there, so it's a great day, and we only wish the sun was shining to take the edge off a bit. But other than that, it was a great day.
Have wrenches, we'll travel.
It's a 357 small block Chevy, mated with an old school Borg Warner T10 4-speed, 355 rear axle gears, full air ride suspension. The car goes up and down on air.
It's like gangsta.
Old school bench seat, just a fun car. It's kind of like brings you back to the 60s and 70s when these cars were just starting to become popular. So every bit of chrome, every bit of aluminum on the car, everything has been replaced. All the moldings, everything is brand new in the car. So it's virtually like a new car, except old. The motor is painted the same color as the car. Everything is either polished aluminum or chrome underneath the hood. I changed a bunch of the items off of there when I got the car just to make it my own. Aluminum radiator, all the grill, everything is brand new chrome. Manual brakes with power steering. Got to have power steering in these heavier cars. All electronic ignition like the newer vehicles would have. It's still carbureted, not fuel injected. Someday it might be fuel injected. The wheels are a special wheel. We have 17-inch wheels on the front, 18s on the rear. What's unique about these Koi's wheels is they do not have outside valve stems. The valve stem is hidden in behind with a special adapter that's required to put the air in the tires. The car rides on airbags, so it is a full air ride suspension. A group of switches for each corner are mounted inside the glove box. I can bring the car up and down instantly. There's a big air tank and air compressor that's neatly mounted in the trunk. Steering wheel is It's all billet aluminum, and the front face of it is wrapped in vinyl to match the seats. Days like today, we need the heater, that's for sure. All the glass has been replaced in the car. It's all got a semi-tint to the glass. All what we call the window fuzzies around. Virtually a completely rebuilt vehicle. The only part that's not shiny is underneath because I purchased a car, or I built a car to drive them. It's not a trailered vehicle. Bumpers, tail lights, everything is all, again, been replaced. The V's that you see underneath the tail lights was an option used on the 1956 Chevy Nomad station wagon. This was a fad in the 70s. We would all put those little V's under there just to designate it's a V8 car. So other than that, it's, like I say, brand new car. First time driving it this year.
We've had it for a year. We bought it from Wally Hemming. It's a fellow in Thunder Bay, Ontario, that built it. It took him 2 years, from 98 to 1980. He had most of it in the basement, and after a while his wife said, it's either me or the car. And my wife and I, we've done a little bit of work on it. There's 40 ponies under there. There's no fuel pump on these. The fuel tank is right there. And it's gravity flow. Changed the exhaust system, the water pump, spark plugs and fan belts, stuff like that. Regular maintenance. And we have fun with it. We go for coffee every day with it. If it's not raining. And car shows and stuff, show and shine. In fact, there was a plant, Ford had a plant in Winnipeg, Portage and Wall. The old MIT building, there used to be a school there. And Ford had it from 1920 to 1941, I think it was. They used to assemble cars there, Model Ts and Model A's, I guess, after. I like driving it. My wife only drove it a couple times. She's scared of it. Like, it's got mechanical brakes. It's not hydraulic brakes. But they're very good brakes. You can stop on a dime and get 5 cents change. At top speed, I got it up to 42 miles an hour.
Not bad.
If it would have a high-speed rear end, I'd probably get 65 out of it. Otherwise, it's fun to drive. And it's got the tire wrench at the other end.
Is that how you started? You have an electronic start on this, though.
Oh yeah, it's got a starter, but if your battery's dead, you can use that.
Cool. Cool.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't have power steering, though, you know. See what I mean by the mechanical brakes? They're not hydraulics. See, there's a rod that goes to every wheel. This rod here. There's a rod to each wheel. Like I said, they're very good brakes. Everybody's got to have a toy.
Beautiful toy.
Oh, by the way, it's for sale.
Oh,
Okay, I bought it
I bought the frame and a lot of the parts from a fellow that was in the Model A Club, the Golden Boy region. Then I started to build it up, and it took me about 2 winters to finish restoring it. I bought the fenders, the body, and then I did the engine, the rest of the car. So after about the second winter, I had it on the road in the spring. And some of the parts I got from the US, some of the parts I got locally. There was no problem getting parts. But, and I had a friend paint it. And one thing led to another, and here's the car today. As the old saying goes, you know how to make a small fortune restoring Model A's. You have to start with a big fortune. And it's a very expensive hobby because all these parts are expensive. There's no shortage of parts. A lot of companies in the U.S. specialize in Model A parts, so there's no problem getting parts for it. And right now I'm building up an engine, a special engine for it. These were 40 horsepower when they came out. Mine will be going up to about 80 to 90 horsepower after I get this engine finished. So that'll be the next thing on the list. But they're a lot of fun though. They're very, very, very much fun. Taking the show and shine, and we take them to seniors' homes and we put them in shows, and all these cars you see here, a lot of them belong to the Manitoba Classic and Antique Auto Club. So we have a lot of activities on during the summer months. Then we put them away for the winter and wait for spring again. I've always liked Model A's. Like I was born and raised on a farm west of Winnipeg. My uncle had a Model A like the one over there. And I've always had kind of a passion for Model A's. So I always wanted to have a roadster. I had the opportunity to get the parts and that thing for it. So the rest is history. Here it is right today. It's a labor of love. Yeah, these are easy to work on. You lift the side up and everything's right there. But I was trained as a mechanic, and I got my license in 1959. And there were still, when I was training, there were still quite a few of these cars around. So that was back in the 50s. So this is the car that I always wanted, so if I had the chance to get it, so I did. I built it. And if you ask me if I'd do it again, I said no, I wouldn't do it again. But a lot of time, a lot of money. My wife didn't see a lot of me when I was building this up.
Before the sun goes down, you could see around town pieces of history displayed. Polish up that chrome and get ready to roam out into city today. See you around Peg City. Have a safe and fun cruise night.
This is valuable stock. Yeah. See how much smaller it is? Look at it. Even this part here is deeper. See, if you go to the edge, you can see it's long. All this stuff I try to market, but I forgot already. I got other things in my life, but where you want what they came out of.
Thank you for watching.